Overland Park is consistently rated as one of the top suburbs in not just Kansas City, but potentially the entire United States. In this video, we've got the top 5 neighborhoods in the city of Overland Park, part number 2. And before we get started, we haven't met yet. My name is Nick.
I'm Jordan.
We help people buy and build homes all over the Kansas City suburbs. We previously did a top 6 neighborhoods in Overland Park. This time, we're switching it up, and just for context, we're splitting Overland Park into 3 different parts. And we're gonna put a picture of what that looks like on the screen. City of Overland Park differs. We're just breaking it down this way because it makes it a little easier to understand. You've got North Overland Park, which for this video is north of 435. You've got Central Overland Park, which is south of 435 and around, I'd kind of say 159th Street, around the Blue Hawk area. Then everything south of that where the new construction is, we're gonna refer to that as South Overland Park. So without further ado, neighborhood number 1 is Pinehurst and Pinehurst Estates in North Overland Park.
So as you can see on the map, Pinehurst Estates is located north of 435. It's east of 69 Highway and Metcalf. It's really close proximity to the highways and also to the Oak Park Mall, Sam's Club, Costco, all kinds of shopping and restaurants around that area. The other thing is that Pinehurst falls in the Shawnee Mission School District, not Blue Valley.
And that's a major distinction, because I know a lot of you, if you're doing your research, you've looked at the ratings for some of these schools. And one of the biggest requests that we get is, hey, I want to be in Overland Park, Blue Valley School District. And this is one of 2 neighborhoods that is not in that school district. But the reason we're putting it first, there's a major difference between being north of 435 and being south. The schools are one, but the second major difference has to be the age of the homes. And that's important for a couple different reasons. I think one, you get a lot more mature landscaping.
Yeah, so in North Overland Park, you're gonna get tons of tall oak trees. It's really, really beautiful as you're driving down the street, and they are just lined with oaks between the curbs and the sidewalks.
Absolutely. And number 2 would have to be, you're more centrally located. So if you go really far south, like a couple of the neighborhoods at the end of this list, it's going to take you a longer time to get to like the airport, the Chiefs Stadium, or even downtown Kansas City. North Overland Park, Pinehurst Estates are very centrally located, quick highway access. You can get to Lenexa, get to all parts of Johnson County pretty quickly. There's one other major difference, which is if you go further north than this, you're oftentimes going to find smaller homes and usually single car garages. The nice thing about Pinehurst Estates, a lot of these homes were built between the 1960s and really the late 80s, which is when we first started seeing larger homes, 2-story homes, estate-sized homes, as well as 2-car garages. So we'll put some pictures on the screen for you just so you can get an idea. Jordan, one of the things I love about Pinehurst, especially Pinehurst Estates, is you've got a lot of character and a lot of variability, a lot of variety in the different types of homes you'll find there.
That's right, Nick. And one example of that, these homes range from 1,800 square feet all the way up to 5,000 square feet, possibly even bigger than that. And a lot of different architectural styles, ranch homes, Tudors, colonials. And then when we look at the prices, the median price for 2024, $550,000.
That's right. And, we've put the picture on the screen that shows you the last several years, and it kind of hurts to look at that 2019 median sale price of $335. But if this is an area that you like, that you want to be in, it's nice to know it has a solid track record of appreciation, as most places around Kansas City do over the last several years. One thing that's interesting to note is you'll see the days on market, about 3 days. So really what this looks like is that property is probably getting listed on a Thursday or a Friday, and it's probably under contract for most of them by Monday morning or Sunday afternoon. So these homes are going pretty quickly. And one other thing that we're starting to see in this part is a little bit of infill new construction, so tear downs and rebuilds. However, the nice thing about Pinehurst and Pinehurst Estates is that these homes were built in a later, you've got bigger homes. They're more adaptable to today's living standards. And you'll find that a lot of them have been updated over time.
Neighborhood number 2 on our list is Nottingham By The Greens. Now this falls on the west side of Overland Park between Quivira and Flum, north of 135th Street. And one thing that's a little unique, we are south of 435. We're not in the Blue Valley School District here. We are actually in the Olathe School District.
That's right. And that's an important distinction. So before we get into all the schools, you've got a ton of different Nottingham neighborhoods. You've got Nottingham Forest. I think there's a Nottingham Forest South. We've you got the Nottingham by the Green, you've got Nottingham at Heritage Park, and the list kind of
Just goes on and on.
It goes on and on. So the reason we picked this one, if you're relocating to Kansas City, if you haven't lived here before, one of the most difficult things is you might find a neighborhood you really like, and it just might, for what seems to be no reason, fall outside of the school district that you might think it is. So the reason we put this on the list, ton of different school districts in Overland Park. This would be one that falls just on the edges and into the Olathe Public Schools. We'll put the rating from niche.com on the screen here. I'd absolutely recommend reading all of the reviews, because if you're just looking at the ratings, it can kind of be like splitting hairs at some point. But the other nice thing about Nottingham by the Green, you've got the amenities, which, you know, we kind of talked about the shift from smaller homes, single car garages, and then in the 1960s, Pinehurst Estates, you've got these larger homes, a lot of variety, the 2-car garages. Well, Nottingham, I think, represents the next big shift in the way that our communities or neighborhoods are built. Jordan, we've got amenities.
Yep, so we do have a sports court, a pool with a slide, and a clubhouse. And, you know, amenities started coming in probably in the 70s. You know, Nottingham started in the 1990s building there all the way up to the end of 1999.
That's right. Now, I think we also talked about 135th Street, all the shops, restaurants, et cetera, are right there. If you stick around till neighborhood number 3, we're going to cover one on the other side, so the eastern side of the highway. And that's another big difference too. One thing that I do want to point out is one of my clients actually purchased a home in the Greens, Nottingham at the Greens. And what I love about the homes there, they're nice and big. So usually by this point, a lot of them are 2 stories, 1.5 stories. Most of them have finished basements, which gets you to like a 3,000, all the way up sometimes to like 6,500 square feet, especially for some of those homes that have views of the golf course. Some of them have been updated. Some of them might need a little bit of work, but there's certainly something out there for everybody when it comes to the actual home prices.
Yeah, so you're getting a lot of value for all that square footage too, because the median close price in 2024 was $674,950.
That's right. And these are taking about 2 days to sell. The one that one of my clients bought, we actually were able to negotiate quite a bit. We were able to get a new HVAC, water heater, and furnace. And I think there were 2 water heaters in that house. So this is certainly an area where you will see that variability. Some of the homes are going to go quick. Some are going to take a little bit longer to sell. What I love about them is if you're looking for a big home, really good location in Overland Park. And I know this is kind of like a high price. If you look at that number in 2019, which was $462,500, you're getting an estate-sized home that back in the day, if it was built now, would probably be well over $1 million. Now, before we move on to neighborhood number 3, any questions buying, building a home in the Kansas City suburbs? I know Overland Park is a top pick. We do all over Kansas City and the Kansas City metro. So any questions, whether you're local, relocating to the area, we'd absolutely love to break this down, make it all specific to you. So our contact info is all on the screen. Give us a phone call, text message, email. If you have a trip planned coming into town, let us know. We can set up some options for you so you can see the different neighborhoods. We'd love to set you up for success. With that being said, we're gonna move on to neighborhood number 3.
So neighborhood number 3 on the list is gonna be Deer Creek. Now, I'm gonna call this, you know, we talked about north and south Overland Park. I'm gonna call this on the east side of Overland Park. So this is east of 69 Highway. It's north of 135th Street, just straight north of Prairie Fire. And this does fall in the Blue Valley School District.
That's right. So if you didn't catch part number 1, I think it was top 6 neighborhoods in Overland Park. We actually cover Lionsgate. That's one that I know a lot of people have heard about. There are plenty different like neighborhoods under that umbrella of Lionsgate. The reason we picked this, you've got some very, very nice homes. And Jordan, I know this one was built around a golf course that has since, I think, closed down.
Yeah, it's been closed down a couple of years ago. You know, there's Deer Creek runs through there and it flooded. And so they shut the golf course down.
So it's uncertain as to what will happen with that golf course. But as of right now, you still kind of get those views. You get the privacy, especially if there's a home that backs up to the golf course.
Still a lot of green space.
That's right. And I think the major difference between Deer Creek versus like Nottingham by the Greens, these homes are like a whole step in terms of size. I mean, most of these houses, we'll put pictures on the screen so you can see them. They were built similar kind of time period, 1980s, early 90s, 5,000 to 8,000 square feet. Some of them have pools, the walkout lower levels. Pretty much all of them have finished basements. And the interesting thing, Jordan, that I saw, you know, we talked about Nottingham by the Greens. A lot of those are 2 stories. You got a good mix of 1.5 stories. The difference being the 1.5 story, the master's on that main floor. So the whole footprint of the house has to be bigger to accommodate that. In Deer Creek, all the recent sales in the past year or so, they're all 1.5 stories. Master on the main, secondary bedrooms upstairs, and you just get these huge, huge homes.
Not only are they huge homes, Nick, but the lots are huge too, anywhere from half an acre on up to a full acre.
In the Blue Valley School District, half an acre to a full acre, just north of 135th Street, that land value alone is pretty high. So that's why we picked this one. Blue Valley Schools, we'll put the ratings for those on the screen. This is one of the communities where you will find amenities. So Jordan, I think they've got a pool, like basketball courts, it looks like tennis, maybe that have been converted into pickleball courts, but same kind of time frame. You get those amenities. This was the first kind of emergence. Everything after this neighborhood that we'll discuss in the video, you've got amenities, and you'll kind of see the evolution over time. But when it comes to home prices,
yep. So you get a ton of value here talking about the size of the homes and the lots. But the median close price in 2024, $1,092,500.
Yep, and those homes are selling in about 7 days, which usually when those prices go up, you lose a good amount of people that would be in the buyer pool versus like a 3, 4, 500s, for example. The reason that it's still pretty quick for $1 million+ price point, home built in the late 1900s, is because of the size, because of the location, and really because of some of the privacy with those huge lots, some of them backing up to the golf course. Just a ton of value there.
Yeah, to build a new home, at that size of a home or with a lot that big, you're looking at 1.5 to 2 million, probably minimum.
Yeah, so it's a unique one. And the reason we're showing you this neighborhood as well as Nottingham by the Greens is just so you can see the different levels of housing. And I think there's also something to be said about the difference in the location when you just go a little bit east of the highway.
Neighborhood number 4, we're gonna go with Mills Farm. Now this was a Matt Adam development master plan community. There's roughly 500 homes in this neighborhood. So this is on the south end of Overland Park. We're right off 159th and Quivira. You got a short drive to Blue Hawk and 69 Highway and Blue Valley Schools.
That's right. So just based on what we went over at the beginning of the video, you got the north, central, and what we've referred to as South Overland Park. This would fall under our description as South Overland Park. This is definitely one of the newer areas of this, even though in the context of Kansas City, Overland Park as a city is very, very new. Like a lot of homes that you'll find in Kansas City, Missouri are over 100 years old, etc. This is just a whole different wave of new construction. And this neighborhood is fully built out. To my knowledge, there aren't any lots remaining. A lot of these homes were built from like the 2007s all the way up to about 2018. The interesting thing is you got pretty wide range of prices, and we'll show you the median here in a second, but price range for the last 360 days in terms of sales, we're anywhere from 700,000 all the way up to a listing that's on the market for 3.9 million right now.
Yep, there's a lot of custom homes in Mills Farm. I mean, Matt Adam communities are absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, Glen Eagles would be another example, but similar to Nottingham, right? You've got plenty different Mills neighborhoods. You've got Mills Crossing, you've got Mills Ranch, Mills Farm, etc. And some of those will also have new construction, the new iteration of it. The nice thing about this one, the amenities start getting a little bit bigger in this time frame. So you got a clubhouse, a pool with a really neat slide. You got tennis courts, a basketball court. Of course, you got to have a playground. And one thing that we just don't see often is the sand volleyball. Sand volleyball. So I thought that was pretty neat. But Jordan, in terms of the median prices.
Yep, median price for 2024, $1,175,000.
And those are selling in about 9 days. So still, that's a very quick timetable for some of these homes, especially at that price point, to actually sell. And I think that has to do with the popularity, the location, and kind of the newness factor of some of these homes. Moving on to the 5th and final neighborhood in this video, we've got Terry Brook Farms. Jordan, our goal with this video is to kind of take you through the evolution of neighborhoods, construction in the city of Overland Park over time. This is one where you still have some brand new homes being developed, but it's also a mature and kind of built out neighborhood.
Yep, so they started Terry Brook Farms back in around 2016. They are still building. There's 4 lots left that you can choose from, and then there's a handful of specs that are being built as well. And they are just about to finish up their estates.
That's right, they've got some projects going up right now. But the reason we chose Terry Brook Farms is it is west of the highway. You're at one of the southernmost areas in the city of Overland Park that's still in the Blue Valley School District. All of the schools, the elementary, middle, high school, are like minutes away. You got the Overland Park Arboretum right there. And kind of the next phase of development, this kind of the cliffhanger of the video, is all of the communities being built east of the highway. So Terry Brook is in what we call the new homes corridor. You'll find a ton of different new home communities there east of the highway where we're currently at right now, which is Southern Meadows. I made a video on that one. Completely, it's kind of like the final frontier of the city. But getting back to Terry Brook Farms, started in 2016, you got roughly 400 homes, 4 lots left, a ton of spec homes going up right now. And Jordan, our price range that we've seen is anywhere from $677 all the way up to $2.6 million.
Yep. And that median price for 2024 is $1,019,900. And I think the days on market is probably skewed a little bit because there are new homes in there, but the median days sitting at
That's right. We kind of just ignore those because new construction days on market doesn't really matter. But you'll notice at that price point, a little bit lower than a Mills Ranch, for example. And that's you'll find custom built homes in Terry Brook, but in Mills Ranch, most of those
homes
are custom built. So that would be the major difference. Still got amenities. I actually really like Terry Brook's amenities. You've got the swimming pool, clubhouse with a fitness center inside of it, sports court, playground, of course, trails throughout. And one of our favorites, I think just sold a couple weeks ago, was actually the Madison 2, one of the most iconic models. You've probably seen it in magazines. If you're from Kansas City, you've probably seen it somewhere before. We'll link a video to that one down below as well. But that's all for this video. Any questions buying, building a home in Kansas City, the Kansas City suburbs, make sure to give us a phone call, text message, email. If you want to see a part number 3, I know this is part number 2, and we'll link that down below in the description. If you want to see a part number 3, let us know down in the comments. If there are other suburbs where you want us to break down some of the popular neighborhoods, let us know in the comments below and we'll add it to our queue. That's all for this one. Before you go, make sure to hit the like button. We're gonna put 2 videos on the screen. One that you're pointing to, that's actually the first part of this video. We do 6 neighborhoods in Overland Park. And this one right here, you can click here for the video YouTube thinks you'd enjoy the most. So click either there or here. We'll see you on the other side.